Exclusive. Future. A Star Wars story spin-offs on hold at Lucasfilm. Well, ain't that a bit? How's it going, everybody? This is Phil. Well, just when I thought I wasn't going to put out a video today, this has become a hot topic of discussion. So let's not waste any time and dive right into this. This article is coming to us from Collider. The author is Steve Frosty Weintraub. Good for you, Steve. I'm not even gonna make fun of that name. Just own that, buddy. And here is Mr. Ewan McGregor. He is now our Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sir Alec Guinness did it first. He did it best. But Ewan McGregor is a very fine young Obi-Wan Kenobi, now a middle-aged Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I think he's become beloved in the franchise. I think he's kind of in that, or getting close to that rarefied air. At least for me, is I really look at McGregor as almost a classic character in a sense, at least from the prequel trilogy. Absolutely. So let's get rocking and rolling with this article here. So it may be a while before we see any more movies like Solo, a Star Wars story, out of Lucasfilm. Well, with any luck, it'll be the last time we see any movies like Solo, a Star Wars story out of Lucasfilm. Sources with knowledge of the situation tell Collider that Lucasfilm has decided to put plans for more a Star Wars story spin-off movies on hold, instead opting to focus their attention on Star Wars Episode 9. And what the next trilogy of Star Wars films, which better not be Rian Johnson's craptacular trilogy that he's planning, will be after that film. Sources tell us that the previously rumored Obi-Wan Kenobi movie was in active development, but those who are working on the film are no longer involved. And now that's a shame. As big a fan of Boba Fett that I am, if you can't tell by this channel's name, the Obi-Wan movie was the one I wanted really to see. I wanted that most because I think Obi-Wan is a great character, and he truly embodies what a Jedi Knight should be. He was always a good soldier. He always did the right thing. He was a great mentor to Luke. He showed up, and unlike Luke in The Last Jedi, he didn't turn him away. He kind of told the truth from a certain point of view. But I mean, all in all, Obi-Wan has been a very consistent, very solid character that does the right thing. There's plenty of tales that could be told, in the span between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. And I think that time period with the characters that are around and what's going on, fallout from Order 66, all of that stuff, I mean, it really lends itself to some kind of interesting stories that could be told. And look, Ewan McGregor, as I said, as much as Sir Alec Guinness's performance is iconic, I've grown to really appreciate, love, and accept Ewan McGregor in the role. He's the young Obi-Wan, certified fresh. So it was recently reported that Logan filmmaker James Mangold was in early talks to write and direct the Boba Fett film, but that was before Solo's release. And for now, no more Boba Fett either. I guess this means I don't have to worry about doing any top 5 things I want to see in a Boba Fett or Obi-Wan movie video anytime soon. There goes that content. So let's see here. This news comes in the wake of a disappointing launch of Solo. Disappointing, to say the least, which was only Lucasfilm's second A Star Wars story spin-off, but which received mixed to positive to lousy. They left that part out. Mixed to positive to lousy reviews, and fell short of box office expectations. Still fallen. That is a fallen star. The film scored $84.4 million on opening weekend. Could you imagine a 3-day take? It doesn't clear 100. A Star Wars movie in this day and age, with the cost of movie tickets, and has grossed $192 million domestically and $339.5 million worldwide in 4 weeks, which is nothing to scoff at. Yeah, we're scoffing. We're all scoffing. But this is far, far lower than the performance of other Star Wars movies at this benchmark. For comparison's sake, Rogue One opened to 155 million and had grossed 424 million domestic. If Solo's box office, global box office, hits 424 million, I will be stunned. This movie is a total failure. It's a loss. It's a complete loss for them. 424 million domestic by week 4. To put it simply, while Solo did fine by blockbuster standards, it wasn't the event that Lucasfilm expected out of a brand new Star Wars movie. Yeah, well, listen, it's fine. You know, blockbuster standards. If you climb into a DeLorean and blast back to 1980 when tickets cost $3.50 a pop, you know, by today's standards, not only is Solo weak compared to other movies like Deadpool or The Incredibles, its box office hovers more around the 50 Shades of Grey box office numbers than it does anything resembling a movie bearing the Star Wars moniker. So, let's see. Of course, the May release date could have something to do with Solo's disappointing performance, as opposed to Rogue One or the episodic films by J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson, this idiot, this round-headed buffoon, his movie had a lot to do with this failure. Don't kid yourself. All right, the fans were pissed off, and no one acknowledges this still. When they do, they call us toxic. I'm getting tired of that word. So by this guy, Solo went head-to-head with a slew of summer blockbusters in May, opening mere weeks after box office juggernauts Avengers: Infinity War and Deadpool. And see, that's the thing. Star Wars movies are the juggernauts of the film industry. They don't get out of the way for other movies. Other movies get the F out of Dodge when a Star Wars release date is announced. You know, I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, that's how it used to be. Geez, how the mighty have fallen here. One wonders how the film would have fared had Lucasfilm pushed Solo's release to December instead. And you know what? I think that's actually a fair question. I still think it would have underperformed. You know, and I don't want to get too deep into that right here, right now. You know, but if you guys want to head over to John Talks Star Wars, his channel, great channel, a lot of great content over there, awesome guy. He did a video about this where he poses this exact same question. So when you're done over here, go check John's video out about this, and you know, maybe comment, resurrect that thread of discussion over there. Let's see here. Regardless, we're hearing that plans to revisit a Star Wars. I'm so tired of saying this. A Star Wars story format have been put on hold for the moment. Initially announced as anthology movies, the spin-offs got off to a rocky start and haven't exactly been smooth sailing. Josh Trank Chronicle was developing a Boba Fett movie around the same time Gareth Edwards, Godzilla, was prepping Rogue One. But Trank was subsequently removed from the project, and Lucasfilm lost the film off its planned slate. I mean, are you following all of this? Then the story issues led to extensive reshoots on Rogue One that reworked the third act with Tony Gilroy, the Bourne Legacy, overseeing the new scenes. And then, of course, Solo saw directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who took Lawrence Kasdan and John Kasdan's script and were clandestinely shooting the first ever Star Wars musical. They were fired during production by Kathleen Kennedy, who was clueless, who let it go 80% of the way through before she pulled the plug on them. Ron Howard come in and replace them and reshoot a number of scenes. I mean, Jesus Christ, this whole paragraph illustrates a complete shitstorm of ineptitude over at Lucasfilm. I mean, Jesus, what a mess these films have been, with all the reshoots, the hiring and firing of directors, extended shooting schedules, expanded budgets, all under Kathleen Kennedy's watch, I might add, and attributed to her ability, or lack thereof, to properly assess suitable talent and recognize immediately when things start to go south before it's too late. I guess it's too late now. That's it. It's over, Johnny. All right. In addition, we're almost there. In addition to Episode 9, Lucasfilm has officially announced development on a new Star Wars trilogy focused on new characters Again, from The Last Jedi writer, director, fan trolling, non-responsibility taken, man baby, asshole, Twitter feed blocker, bubble-headed Ryan Johnson. Just no. Nobody in their right mind wants these. You got to be crazy. Just pull the plug on these films already. They're going to be billion-dollar liabilities. I'm telling you, it's enough with this guy already. Okay, he enough. It's over. Get out of here. Go. As well as a series of films written by Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. These projects continue to be in development and are not part of the paused spin-offs we're hearing about, but Lucasfilm's main focus at the moment is planning the next trilogy after the Abrams-directed Star Wars Episode 9, which is expected to conclude the story of Rey, Daisy Ridley, that began with The Force Awakens. I mean, first of all, Ryan Johnson, with his spin-off of movies, Ryan Johnson, his trilogy of awfulness and his spherical head of doom can all spin off into another plane of existence as far as I'm concerned. And as far as this coming to a conclusion, yeah, please, mercifully come to a conclusion. You've done enough damage already. Goodbye. When the dust settles and this trilogy is done, you ready? I'm going to predict the future. The conclusion will be that these movies were a disjointed mess that played on nostalgia, counted on cheap fanfare tactics, gave us shit characters with weak development, forced social justice warrior SJW nonsense down our throats, and ultimately butchered and battered and embarrassed and disrespected and murdered far too many beloved legacy characters without giving any of them anything that would remotely be considered a true hero send-off. So F you, all of you. Seriously, you bunch of hacks. Just letting you know how I feel. As with everything in Hollywood, it's always possible that some filmmaker could come in and pitch an idea for a Star Wars story spin-off that makes Lucasfilm rethink its approach or opt to greenlight that idea as a one-off. But as of right now, we're hearing the studio's focus has moved away from these spin-offs for the time being and is squarely intent on getting Episode 9 to finish the line and figuring out what the next trilogy of films will be. More as we hear it. Alright, well, let's take it from the top. Look, the dominoes are starting to fall, and this is Disney Lucasfilm starting to shuffle the deck around to get things back in order. Change is happening, and change in this instance is a good thing. If they can get a quality movie out if they can't get a quality movie out every year, then I'd rather wait every 2 years for something that feels more special and true to what a Star Wars movie should feel like, and that's an event film. I mean, you go back to that one paragraph, and it's one calamity after the next. So maybe this is the way these films in particular, this particular franchise, they need to be released. And I would be fine with that if they return to some semblance of Star Wars movies that we all know and love and cherish. I mean, we'll see. Where this isn't the greatest news is, unfortunately, at least for the time being, we lost a potentially great Obi-Wan Kenobi film, impossible film franchise, with Ewan McGregor reprising his role, which to me, that's a big shame. We also lost the James Mangold directed Boba Fett movie, which had great potential as a one-off and could have actually worked as a Marvel-like crossover at some point with the Obi-Wan movies, if those saw more than one installment. The other thing to be cause for concern is that, and look, this is conjecture on my part, we all know, at least from what we heard, that Kathleen Kennedy is being shown the door in September. So what if this canceling of the in-between Star Wars story anthology-type movies is a compromise of sorts internally and a last-ditch effort to take pressure off of Kathleen and keep her in place, as she clearly can't keep too many plates spinning in the air all at one time, so that way she can focus her energy on essentially one, maybe two movie projects at a time instead of 3 or 4, you know, with a film coming out every year. You know, I mean, don't kill me on that. I mean, I seriously doubt that's the case. You know, this woman and her nonsense, and the people she's associated herself with at Lucasfilm, that have been less than professional in dealing with the fan community, have to varying extents become liabilities, you know, that will continue to cost Disney and Lucasfilm millions of dollars in profits, you know, from disgruntled fans with really long memories. You know, but I mean, look, stranger things have happened, you know, and being tone deaf seems to be the soup du jour when you're talking Disney's Lucasfilm these days. So, I mean, who knows? Again, look at this. This paragraph is just so bad, you know. And you know, it's ironic. You know, poor Ron Howard. How ironic is it that Ron Howard directs the movie that he directs ends up being the Star Wars film that jumps the shark at the box office. Poor guy. He deserves better than that. So, anyway, let me know what you guys think. As always, you know, thanks for watching. I appreciate it greatly. If you like this video, give it a like, and feel free to comment. And if you haven't done so yet, please consider becoming a subscriber. And look, that's all I got for now. Be happy, be safe, be healthy, and have a great day. Bye-bye, guys.